Several years ago, I met a man who woke up every morning at 5 a.m. to run, rain or shine. I asked him once, "How do you stay so motivated?" He smiled and said, "I'm not motivated, I'm disciplined." That was the day I realized discipline is the real superpower that nobody talks about. When we hear the word discipline, most people think of punishment, strict rules, or something that takes away freedom. But in reality, discipline is not about restriction, it is about creation. Discipline is the quiet force that shapes dreams into achievements, that turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. The power of discipline isn't flashy. It doesn't trend on social media. It doesn't give you instant applause. Yet, it's the very thing that separates potential from progress and intentions from impact. Today, I want to share with you 7 hidden powers of discipline that nobody talks about. Powers that can transform your personal growth, career, and even relationships. Discipline creates freedom. When most people hear the word discipline, they think of limits, restrictions, and rules. But the truth is, discipline doesn't take away your freedom, it creates it. Think about it this way. If you don't have the discipline to manage your money, you'll always be trapped by debt, bills, and financial stress. But if you develop the discipline to save, invest, and spend wisely, you gain the freedom to travel, to choose opportunities, and to live without constant financial worry. The same is true with time. Without discipline, our days get eaten up by distractions, scrolling through social media, procrastinating, or reacting to everyone else's demands. At the end of the day, we wonder where the time went. But when you practice discipline with your time, scheduling priorities, saying no to what doesn't matter, you suddenly have the freedom to focus on what matters most: your goals, your passions, and your relationships. Even in health, discipline creates freedom. Yes, waking up early to exercise requires effort. Saying no to junk food takes willpower. But that discipline buys you freedom later. The freedom to move without pain, to have energy throughout the day, and to enjoy life without being held back by preventable health issues. Here's the paradox. People think discipline is about saying no. In reality, discipline is about saying yes. Yes to your future. Yes to your freedom. Yes to the life you want. The structure that discipline creates isn't a prison. It's a pathway. It's the map that keeps you from getting lost, so you can explore life more fully. So remember, the undisciplined life feels free in the moment, but it often leads to long-term regret. The disciplined life feels tough in the moment, but it creates long-term freedom. Discipline outlasts motivation. We live in a world that glorifies motivation. Scroll through social media, and you'll see countless motivational videos, quotes, and speeches telling you to stay inspired. And yes, motivation can be powerful. It can spark action, give us energy, and get us moving. But here's the truth that nobody talks about. Motivation fades, discipline remains. Motivation is like a burst of energy. It's that rush you feel after watching a motivational clip, or the excitement on day one of a new project, or the surge of passion when you set a new goal. But what happens on day 10 or day 30, or when the weather is bad, or when life gets stressful? Motivation disappears. It's unreliable. It's emotional. You can't count on it. Discipline, however, doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't wait for the perfect circumstances. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially on the days you don't feel like doing it. That's why disciplined people succeed where motivated people quit. Think about professional athletes. Do you think they wake up motivated to train every single day? Absolutely not. Many mornings they're tired, sore, or mentally drained. But they show up anyway, because discipline is stronger than motivation. Or take a student preparing for an exam. At the start, motivation might get them to open the book. But it's discipline that keeps them studying late into the night when their friends are out having fun. The same is true in business, relationships, or personal growth. Motivation will start your journey, but discipline will finish it. It's the fuel that keeps the engine running when everything else has run dry. Here's the secret. Successful people are not more motivated than others. They're more disciplined. They've trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. They understand that feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. So if you want lasting progress in your life, don't chase motivation. Build discipline. Because when motivation runs out, and it always does, discipline is what will carry you forward. Discipline builds self-respect. One of the most overlooked powers of discipline is how it shapes the way we see ourselves. People often think of discipline as something external, rules, schedules, or routines. But the deepest impact of discipline is internal. It builds self-respect. Here's why. Every time you set a goal and follow through with it, you're sending yourself a message. I can trust me. And trust is the foundation of respect. Think about it. If someone else constantly broke promises to you, showed up late, or failed to keep their word, you wouldn't respect them. Now ask yourself, how often do we do that to ourselves? When you say, I'm going to wake up early, but hit snooze 5 times. When you promise yourself you'll eat healthier, but give in to junk food every night. When you swear you'll stop procrastinating, but binge watch shows instead. Each time that happens, it chips away at your self-respect. Deep down, you start to doubt yourself. You feel weaker, less capable, and more frustrated. Not because of outside failures, but because of broken promises to yourself. Now here's the good news. Discipline reverses that cycle. When you commit to small actions and consistently follow through, your self-respect grows. Waking up on time, keeping your word, sticking to your plan, it all adds up. Each act of discipline is like a deposit into your self-respect account. And just like money in the bank, it compounds. The stronger your discipline, the stronger your confidence. You don't have to hype yourself up with motivational slogans. You know you can rely on yourself because your track record proves it. That inner confidence is far more powerful than external validation because it comes from within. In fact, some of the most disciplined people aren't loud about it. They don't need to brag. Their quiet confidence speaks for them. Why? Because they've mastered the hardest respect to earn, self-respect. So remember this. Discipline isn't just about building habits, routines, or achievements. It's about building you. And when you can look in the mirror and know that you keep your word to yourself, that's a level of respect no one can take away. Discipline reduces stress. Most people believe that discipline makes life harder, more rigid, even more stressful. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline actually reduces stress. Think about where most of our stress comes from. It doesn't come from doing the things we planned. It comes from not doing them. It comes from procrastination, from rushing at the last minute, from living in chaos without structure. Take a simple example. Imagine you have a deadline tomorrow. If you've been disciplined and worked on it step by step, the night before is calm. You can rest, knowing you're prepared. But if you lack discipline and put it off, that same night is filled with panic, stress, and regret. The task itself didn't change. The only difference was discipline. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates calm. When you wake up with a plan, when your habits are in place, you don't waste energy making hundreds of small decisions. You don't constantly wonder, what should I do next? Instead, discipline gives your day a rhythm, and rhythm creates peace of mind. Even in health, discipline lowers stress. When you exercise regularly, eat properly, and sleep well, your body and mind are less anxious. Stress doesn't pile up as easily because your system is stronger. Without discipline, though, poor habits compound stress. You're tired, unhealthy, and mentally drained, which makes even small problems feel overwhelming. There's also another layer to this. Discipline reduces the stress of regret. Many people underestimate how heavy regret feels. The regret of wasted time, missed opportunities, broken promises, or lost chances. Living undisciplined might feel easy in the short term, but it's a life filled with long-term regret. Discipline, on the other hand, might feel challenging in the moment, but it gives you the peace of knowing you gave your best. That peace is priceless. So while some people see discipline as pressure, in reality, it's the exact opposite. It's a release. It takes away the chaos of uncertainty. It prevents the panic of procrastination. And it replaces the stress of regret with the serenity of self-control. In short, discipline doesn't add stress to your life, it subtracts it. Discipline compounds over time. One of the most powerful truths about discipline is that its effects are rarely immediate, but over time, they become unstoppable. Discipline works like compound interest. Small, consistent actions may not look impressive in the moment, but when repeated daily, they grow into extraordinary results. Think about saving money. If you save just a little each day, it doesn't feel like much. $1 here, $5 there, hardly noticeable. But after months, years, or decades, that steady discipline turns into financial security, freedom, and even wealth. The same principle applies to every area of life. Read just 10 pages of a book every night. At first, it feels tiny, almost meaningless. But do it for a year, and you've read over 3,600 pages, the equivalent of 15 to 20 books. That knowledge can transform your thinking, your career, your relationships. Exercise for just 30 minutes a day. At first, you don't see much change. But stay disciplined, and months later your body is stronger, your energy is higher, and your health is transformed. Work on a skill for 20 minutes daily. At first, progress feels slow, but stick to it, and in a year, you've put in more than 120 hours. Enough to become noticeably better, even expert compared to those who gave up. Here's the key. Discipline compounds because consistency multiplies results. Most people fail not because they didn't try, but because they quit too soon. They wanted instant results, and when they didn't see them, they gave up. But disciplined people know that progress is often invisible at first. It's like planting a seed. You don't see growth immediately, but beneath the soil, roots are forming. And when the breakthrough comes, it seems sudden. But in reality, it's the reward of consistent, disciplined effort. Discipline teaches you patience. It reminds you that big achievements aren't built in a day, but they are built daily. Every small choice, every disciplined action, every consistent step compounds into something greater than you could imagine. So if you feel like your efforts are small, or that progress is invisible, don't stop. Stay disciplined, because discipline may feel slow in the moment, but over time, it becomes exponential. And when it compounds, it doesn't just change your results, it changes your entire life. Discipline sets standards for others. Discipline doesn't just change you, it changes the people around you. When you live with discipline, you unconsciously raise the bar for everyone who sees you. Think about it. We all know someone who seems to have incredible self-control, whether it's in their work, their health, or their daily habits. Just being around them makes you reflect on your own choices. Their discipline silently communicates, this is possible. This is the standard. For example, in the workplace, a disciplined employee who always delivers on time sets a new expectation for the entire team. Their consistency makes excuses less acceptable, not because they demand it, but because their actions prove it can be done. In families, a parent's discipline becomes a child's blueprint. Children don't learn discipline from lectures. They learn it from watching a parent who wakes up early, who follows through on promises, who takes care of their responsibilities, sets a standard that their kids will naturally absorb. Even among friends, discipline is contagious. When one friend commits to fitness, studies hard, or stays focused on their goals, it challenges the group to think bigger. Without a word, their discipline inspires others to rise up. And here's the most powerful part. Disciplined people don't need to pressure or preach. Their lifestyle speaks for itself. It shows others what's possible, not by telling them, but by living it. This influence is bigger than motivation. Motivation is external. You cheer someone up, they feel inspired for a moment, and then it fades. But discipline creates a living example. And examples are much harder to ignore. History is filled with leaders, athletes, inventors, and visionaries whose discipline raised standards for the world. But this principle works in everyday life, too. You don't have to be famous to be an example. By keeping your word, showing consistency, and living with discipline, you become a quiet leader. Someone who makes others believe in higher standards simply because you live them. So remember, your discipline isn't just for you. It's a ripple effect. The way you carry yourself, the habits you practice, the consistency you show. Those things don't just transform your life, they influence everyone who comes in contact with you. And in many cases, that silent influence can change lives more than words ever could. Discipline makes you unstoppable. At the end of the day, the greatest power of discipline is this. It makes you unstoppable. Life will always test you. You will face setbacks, failures, disappointments, and days when nothing seems to go your way. Most people quit in those moments. Why? Because they were relying on motivation, on luck, or on inspiration. And when those ran out, so did their effort. But disciplined people are different. They don't stop when things get tough. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They don't give up when the results are slow. Discipline makes them keep going day after day, step after step, until progress becomes inevitable. Think about some of the greatest success stories in history. Athletes who trained when no one was watching. Writers who kept working on manuscripts after countless rejections. Entrepreneurs who built businesses after years of failure. What separated them from the rest wasn't talent alone, it was discipline. The discipline to keep showing up. The discipline to rise after every fall. The discipline to continue when quitting would have been easier. Discipline gives you endurance. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones. A setback becomes temporary because discipline says, I will try again tomorrow. A failure becomes a lesson because discipline says, I will not stop here. That persistence, that resilience, is what makes a person unstoppable. And here's the secret. Being unstoppable doesn't mean you never fall. It means you never stay down. Discipline doesn't make you perfect, it makes you consistent. And consistency beats perfection every single time. When you're disciplined, you no longer depend on moods, motivation, or external praise. You move forward regardless. That consistency compounds, that resilience inspires, and that persistence eventually breaks through barriers. At that point, no challenge, no rejection, and no setback can truly stop you, because you've built the habit of continuing no matter what. So yes, talent may open doors, and luck may give opportunities, but it is discipline that makes you unstoppable. It is the unshakable force that carries you through storms and brings you to the finish line, long after others have given up. Conclusion: the hidden power of discipline. So, what have we discovered? Discipline isn't about restriction, punishment, or losing freedom. It's about creating it. It's about building confidence, reducing stress, compounding results, raising standards, and becoming unstoppable. The truth is, discipline isn't loud. It doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't give you instant rewards. But it quietly, steadily, and relentlessly shapes you into the person capable of achieving your dreams. Motivation may inspire you. Luck may open doors for you. But only discipline will carry you all the way to the finish line. So I leave you with this. The life you want is on the other side of discipline. Embrace it, practice it, and protect it, because discipline is the hidden power that nobody talks about, but everybody who succeeds lives by. Thank you.